Welcome to this comprehensive review, 99 questions on real estate practice. In this video, we'll cover essential topics you need to know for your licensing exam, including agency relationships and duties, fair housing laws, escrow and transaction management, and more. Be sure to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss future reviews, and keep an eye on the lower corner. What shows up there could give you a big edge on exam day. Let's get started.
Real estate practice. Agency relationships and duties. What is the primary fiduciary duty owed by an agent to their principal? Is it A, obedience, B, C, disclosure, or D, confidentiality? The answer is B, loyalty. Loyalty is a fundamental fiduciary duty where an agent prioritizes the principal's interests above all, including personal gain. Which of the following is a true statement regarding dual agency? Is it A, both parties must consent in writing? B, it eliminates the need for confidentiality? C, the agent can accept higher commission without disclosure? Or D, one party needs to consent verbally? The answer is A, both parties must consent in writing. Dual agency requires informed written consent from both parties, ensuring transparency and protecting interests.
Have you noticed the code in the bottom corner? Next time you're stumped, take that code to birdsy.ai for immediate help and a free study session with Birdsy, your personal AI study partner. Plus, you'll get access to hundreds of additional questions, helping you move closer to passing your exam with confidence. The next time you're feeling unsure or stuck, give it a try.
In a buyer's agency agreement, which duty is not owed to the seller? Is it A, honesty, B, fiduciary duty, C, disclosure of facts known to buyer's interest, or D, care? The answer is B, fiduciary duty. In a buyer's agency agreement, fiduciary duties are strictly for the buyer, guarding their interests exclusively. A real estate agent fails to disclose a known defect in the property. What fiduciary duty has been breached? Is it A, loyalty, B, confidentiality, C, disclosure, or D, care? The answer is C, disclosure. Disclosure requires an agent to inform their clients of all material facts about a property or transaction, ensuring clients make informed decisions. In an agency relationship, when is the duty of accounting violated? Is it A, an agent fails to communicate offers? B, the agent mixes personal funds with client funds? C, the agent provides advice on market analysis? Or D, the agent does not negotiate the best price? The answer is B, the agent mixes personal funds with client funds. The duty of accounting requires agents to maintain clear, separate accounts for client funds, avoiding any personal commingling. What type of agency relationship allows an agent to act on behalf of a principal, yet the principal can continue to negotiate with multiple agents? Is it A, exclusive agency, B, dual agency, C, single agency, or D, open agency? The answer is D, agency. An open agency does not restrict the principal from engaging multiple agents, unlike an exclusive agency. The agent who secures the transaction earns the commission. In a fiduciary relationship, which duty obligates the agent to act in the best interest of the principal? Is it A, loyalty, B, disclosure, C, reasonable care, or D, obedience? The answer is A, loyalty. The duty of loyalty ensures that agents prioritize the principal's interest above all else, avoiding conflicts of interest and self-dealing.
If you're finding this helpful, please take a minute to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, useful tips, and complimentary study sessions with Birdsy.
Which duty requires an agent to inform the principal of all known facts that could affect the transaction? Is it A, confidentiality, B, disclosure, C, accounting, or D, loyalty? The answer is B, disclosure. The duty of disclosure requires agents to pass on all relevant information that might influence the principal's decision in the transaction. What duty is breached when an agent shares sensitive client information with a competing party? Is it A, obedience, B, confidentiality, C, accountability, or D, disclosure? The answer is B, confidentiality. The duty of confidentiality prohibits agents from sharing a client's personal and critical information without consent, even beyond the transaction's close. Which of the following duties is primarily concerned with maintaining accurate records of financial transactions between agent and principal? Is it A, disclosure, B, confidentiality, C, accounting, or D, loyalty? The answer is C, accounting. The duty of accounting mandates agents to manage, track, and report on financial transactions with clients, ensuring transparency and accuracy. Which of the following actions demonstrates a breach of the duty of loyalty in a real estate agency relationship? Is it A, disclosing a client's lowest acceptable price to a potential buyer, B, providing accurate information about the property to all potential buyers, C, strictly following the client's instructions even if it leads to a longer sale process, or D, informing the client of all offers received regardless of their amount? The answer is A, disclosing a client's lowest acceptable price to a potential buyer. The duty of loyalty requires agents to prioritize their client's interests. Disclosing sensitive information like the lowest price a client will accept could harm the client's negotiating position. Which of the following is the primary obligation of an agent under a fiduciary relationship? Is it A, to maximize the property's sales price, B, to reduce transaction time as much as possible, C, to ensure both parties have equal information, or D, to act in the best interests of the client? The answer is D, to act in the best interests of the client. In a fiduciary relationship, the agent's primary obligation is loyalty to the client, which includes acting in the client's best interests and maintaining confidentiality. What is the main purpose of dual agency disclosure? Is it A, to comply with federal real estate laws, B, to inform the client about potential conflicts of interest, C, to guarantee the highest sale price for the property, or D, to minimize agent liability in transactions? The answer is B, to inform the client about potential conflicts of interest. Dual agency disclosure is critical in informing both parties about the agent representing conflicting interests, allowing them to make informed decisions about consent. Fair housing laws. Which of the following is a prohibited practice under the Fair Housing Act? Is it A, refusing to rent based on credit history, B, offering different terms based on race, C, charging higher rent based on credit risk, or D, refusing to rent to smokers? The answer is B, offering different terms based on race. The Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, national origin, religion, sex, familial status, or disability. What is steering in the context of real estate, and why is it illegal? Is it A, directing buyers to neighborhoods based on income, B, directing buyers to neighborhoods based on race, C, refusing services to clients based on credit history, or D, providing market analysis for specific areas? The answer is B, directing buyers to neighborhoods based on race. Steering is the practice of guiding prospective homeowners towards or away from certain neighborhoods based on race, violating the Fair Housing Act. Which party is not typically exempt from Fair Housing Act provisions? Is it A, owner-occupied buildings with no more than 4 units? B, single-family homes sold or rented without a broker? C, a commercial property owner renting retail space? Or D, a corporate owner of a large apartment complex? The answer is D, a corporate owner of a large apartment complex. The Fair Housing Act generally applies to all residential housing, with limited exceptions, such as certain small, owner-occupied properties and private sales by owners. Which type of property modification must landlords allow under the Fair Housing Act? Is it A, installation of a satellite dish? B, structural changes for aesthetic reasons? C, modifications to accommodate a disability? Or D, renovations to improve energy efficiency? The answer is C, modifications to accommodate a disability. Landlords must allow reasonable modifications for disabled tenants to live comfortably, though the tenant may be responsible for the costs. How are familial status discriminations defined under the Fair Housing Act? Is it A, refusing applications from single persons? B, allowing non-disabled residents only? C, denying housing to families with children under 18? Or D, renting only to married couples? The answer is C, denying housing to families with children under 18. The Fair Housing Act protects against discrimination based on familial status, ensuring families with children under 18 are not unjustly denied housing. What act prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, national origin, religion, sex, familial status, or disability? Is it A, Equal Credit Opportunity Act? B, Fair Housing Act? C, Civil Rights Act of 1964? Or D, Americans with Disabilities Act? The answer is B, Fair Housing Act. The Fair Housing Act, enacted in 1968, prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, national origin, sex, familial status, and disability. It is monitored by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Which of the following is considered a prohibited practice under the Fair Housing Act? Is it A, refusing to rent to a tenant based on their disabilities? B, offering incentives for quick rental applications? C, charging differing security deposits based on pet ownership? Or D, advertising rental properties on social media? The answer is A, refusing to rent to a tenant based on their disabilities. The Fair Housing Act prohibits practices such as refusing to rent to tenants because of disabilities. Landlords must also accommodate tenants with disabilities by making reasonable modifications. Under the Fair Housing Act, which action is not considered discriminatory? Is it A, providing different services to tenants based on religion? B, charging more rent to families with children? C, refusing to provide reasonable accommodation for disabled persons? Or D, offering a property promotion to all applicants equally? The answer is D, offering a property promotion to all applicants equally. Offering a promotion equally to all applicants is not discriminatory. The Fair Housing Act requires equal treatment and prohibits discrimination based on protected characteristics. What should a landlord do when facing a request for a reasonable accommodation from a disabled tenant? Is it A, deny the request immediately? B, consider the request and determine if it is reasonable? C, allow it only if other tenants agree? Or D, charge a fee for accommodating the request? The answer is B, consider the request and determine if it is reasonable. The Fair Housing Act requires landlords to provide reasonable accommodations for tenants with disabilities unless it causes undue hardship or fundamentally alters the nature of the housing service, which is an example of illegal steering under the Fair Housing Act. Is it A, providing information about schools in the area? B, recommending neighborhoods based on geographic preference. C. Directing families with children to specific buildings. Or D. Informing about public transportation options. The answer is C. Directing families with children to specific buildings. Steering involves guiding prospective buyers or renters to particular areas based on race, ethnicity, or family status, which is illegal under the Fair Housing Act as it restricts housing choices. Ethics and professional conduct. Which of the following is considered a breach of a real estate agent's duty of loyalty to their client? Is it A. Disclosing confidential information to gain a personal advantage? B. Setting a fair market price for a client's property? C. Communicating regularly with clients during a transaction? Or D. Failing to suggest a higher listing price than the client desires? The answer is A. Disclosing confidential information to gain a personal advantage. A real estate agent owes a duty of loyalty to their client, prioritizing the client's interest even above their own. Disclosing confidential information for personal gain is a clear breach. When a real estate agent represents both the buyer and seller in a transaction, it is known as, is it A. Exclusive agency, B. Dual, C. Open listing, or D. Single agency? The answer is B. Agency. Dual agency requires full disclosure and consent from both the buyer and seller, as it can lead to conflicts of interest. Which of the following is true regarding a real estate professional's duty to disclose defects in a property? Is it A. They must disclose all known material defects? B. They only need to disclose defects if asked by the buyer? C. They do not need to disclose potential defects? Or D. They can rely on the seller's disclosure only? The answer is A. They must disclose all known material defects. Agents have a duty to disclose any material defects they know of that could influence the decision-making of a buyer. What is the primary purpose of the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act? Is it A. To ensure fair housing practices? B. To regulate commission structures? C. To protect consumers from unnecessarily high settlement charges? Or D. To mandate continuing education for real estate professionals? The answer is C. To protect consumers from unnecessarily high settlement charges. RESPA requires transparency in real estate settlement costs and prohibits certain abusive practices to protect consumers. If a real estate professional encounters a situation that is ethically unclear, what is their best course of action? Is it A. Proceed based on personal judgment? B. Follow the least resistant path? C. Ignore the situation to avoid conflict? Or D. Consult the code of ethics and seek advice? The answer is D. Consult the code of ethics and seek advice. Consulting the code of ethics and seeking guidance from more experienced professionals helps maintain ethical conduct and public trust. Which of the following actions best demonstrates a real estate agent adhering to ethical guidelines? Is it A. Disclosing only favorable information about a property? B. Keeping client information confidential unless legally required to disclose? C. Encouraging a client to make an offer above their budget? Or D. Showing a preference for cash buyers over others? The answer is B. Keeping client information confidential unless legally required to disclose. Real estate agents must maintain confidentiality and handle client information with care unless disclosure is legally mandated. This is a fundamental aspect of ethical conduct. What is considered an ethical breach in real estate practice? Is it A. Communicating with potential clients through professional channels? B. Providing accurate market information to clients? C. Misrepresenting property details to potential buyers? Or D. Offering referrals to approved service providers? The answer is C. misrepresenting property details to potential buyers. Misrepresenting property details to buyers violates ethical standards, as agents must provide truthful and accurate information to all parties involved. How should a real estate professional handle a conflict of interest situation? Is it A, by ignoring the conflict and proceeding as usual? B, by disclosing the conflict to all parties involved? C, by acting solely in their own best interest? Or D, by seeking guidance from the State Real Estate Commission? The answer is B, by disclosing the conflict to all parties involved. Proper ethical conduct requires real estate professionals to disclose any potential conflicts of interest to all affected parties, ensuring transparency and fairness. Which behavior aligns with the ethical duty of honesty and integrity in real estate? Is it A, exaggerating the benefits of a property to make a sale? B, advising a client to falsify income documents for a loan? C, accurately reporting all offers to a client promptly? Or D, hiding known defects of a property from potential buyers? The answer is C, accurately reporting all offers to a client promptly. Honesty and integrity in real estate require agents to report all offers accurately and in a timely manner, building trust with clients and other parties.
Stuck on a question? Just think of the Birdsy link in the description as your friendly neighborhood superhero swooping in to save the day with answers. Feel free to explore it now and return to continue. Simply hit pause, and we'll be waiting when you get back.
Property management. What is the primary responsibility of a property manager? Is it A, selling properties? B, appraising property value? C, managing tenant relations and property maintenance? Or D, enforcing zoning laws? The answer is C, managing tenant relations and property maintenance. A property manager's core duties include managing tenant relations and ensuring the property is well maintained to maximize its value and income potential. Which document outlines the terms of the agreement between a property manager and a property owner? Is it A, lease agreement? B, property management agreement? C, deed of trust? Or D, zoning permit? The answer is B, property management agreement. A property management agreement specifies the terms, responsibilities, and compensation for managing a property, providing a legal framework for the owner-manager relationship. What is a common financial responsibility of a property manager? Is it A, filing owner's personal taxes? B, drafting lease agreements? C, structuring real estate investment trusts? Or D, handling maintenance fees? The answer is D, handling maintenance fees. Property managers are usually tasked with managing the operating budget of properties, which includes handling financial responsibilities like maintenance fees. What is the purpose of a security deposit in property management? Is it A, to secure a loan for the tenant? B, to protect against tenant damages? C, to increase rental property value? Or D, to provide tenants a rent discount? The answer is B, to protect against tenant damages. Security deposits provide landlords with financial protection against damages and unpaid rent, incentivizing tenants to maintain the property in good condition. Which of the following is a key consideration when setting rental rates? Is it A, current market rental rates? B, owner's mortgage balance? C, age of the property? Or D, length of tenant lease? The answer is A, current market rental rates. Setting rental rates usually involves evaluating current market conditions to ensure the property is competitively priced, attracting tenants while covering expenses. What is a primary responsibility of a property manager? Is it A, marketing the property to new investors? B, ensuring the building complies with all applicable building codes and regulations. C, providing legal advice to tenants. Or D, developing land for future construction. The answer is B, ensuring the building complies with all applicable building codes and regulations. A property manager's responsibilities include maintaining compliance with building codes and regulations to ensure tenant safety and asset protection. Which of the following is considered a standard lease term that should be clearly outlined in a property management lease agreement? Is it A, tenant's marital status, B, maintenance responsibilities for common areas, C, tenant's future employment plans, or D, property tax assessment details? The answer is B, maintenance responsibilities for common areas. Lease agreements should clearly specify maintenance responsibilities, particularly for shared common areas, ensuring all parties understand their obligations. In property management, which of the following is a leasing strategy used to minimize vacancy periods? Is it A, raising rent above market levels, B, ignoring tenant feedback, C, reducing property maintenance services, or D, offering rent concessions or discounts? The answer is D, offering rent concessions or discounts. Leasing strategies like rent concessions help fill vacancies quickly by offering temporary incentives to prospective tenants, improving occupancy rates efficiently. How does a property manager best handle tenant complaints about maintenance issues? Is it A, ignore the complaints and wait for further action, B, report the issue to local authorities immediately, C, acknowledge the complaint and prioritize resolving it efficiently, or D, increase rent to discourage further complaints? The answer is C, acknowledge the complaint and prioritize resolving it efficiently. Promptly addressing and resolving tenant maintenance complaints ensures a good tenant-manager relationship and prevents potential escalation of small issues. Landlord-Tenant Law. What type of notice must a landlord generally provide to a tenant before initiating an eviction for non-payment? Is it A, immediate eviction notice, B, notice to vacate, C, right of entry notice, or D, notice of rent adjustment? The answer is B, notice to vacate. Before proceeding with eviction for non-payment, a landlord must provide a notice to vacate, specifying the payment issue and allowing the tenant a chance to comply. Under federal law, what is a tenant's primary responsibility when renting a property? Is it A, ensure the property increases in value, B, maintain the property in a good condition, C, pay rent on time and in full, or D, screen potential future tenants? The answer is C, pay rent on time and in full. A tenant's main duty under the lease is to pay rent on time as stipulated in the rental agreement. This is fundamental to the lease contract. A lease agreement typically includes a quiet enjoyment clause. What does this ensure for the tenant? Is it A, the right to decorate freely, B, assurance of no eviction without cause, C, the right to live without unnecessary disturbance from the landlord, or D, the provision of all utilities by the landlord? The answer is C, the right to live without unnecessary disturbance from the landlord. The right to quiet enjoyment is a fundamental tenant right, ensuring tenants can enjoy their rented space without landlord interference. Which of the following is a typical exception allowing a landlord entry into a leased premises without tenant consent? Is it A, for routine inspections, B, in an emergency situation, C, to showcase the property to new tenants, or D, to perform general maintenance? The answer is B, in an emergency situation. Landlords have the right to enter leased property without tenant consent only in emergency situations to prevent or address immediate harm. What is a tenant's potential recourse if a landlord fails to make necessary repairs? Is it A, terminate the lease immediately, B, demand a rent reduction, C, withhold rent indefinitely, or D, file a complaint with the local housing authority? The answer is D, file a complaint with the local housing authority. Tenants should report unresolved repair issues to a housing authority to ensure compliance, potentially resulting in orders for the landlord to conduct necessary repairs. What is the implied warranty of habitability? Is it A, a promise that all appliances are in working condition, B, a guarantee that a rental unit is free from serious defects affecting health and safety, C, assurance of lease renewal if the tenant remains in good standing, or D, an agreement to fix all tenant complaints within 24 hours? The answer is B, a guarantee that a rental unit is free from serious defects affecting health and safety. The implied warranty of habitability requires landlords to meet basic living and safety standards in rental properties. It applies primarily to issues that would affect health or safety. A landlord can legally evict a tenant for which reason? Is it A, raising a complaint about building safety, B, non-payment of rent, C, hosting a birthday party without prior notice, or D, exceeding the predefined guest limit occasionally? The answer is B, non-payment of rent. Non-payment of rent is one of the most common legally recognized reasons for eviction, along with violations of lease terms and illegal activities. Which of the following statements is true regarding security deposits? Is it A, they must always be returned in full, regardless of property condition, B, they are typically equivalent to 1 month's rent, C, they must be returned with an itemized list of deductions if not returned in full, or D, they cannot be kept for unpaid rent upon lease termination? The answer is C, they must be returned with an itemized list of deductions if not returned in full. When a landlord retains part of a security deposit for damages or unpaid rent, an itemized list of deductions must be provided to the tenant to justify the amount withheld. When can a landlord enter a tenant's rental unit without notice? Is it A, to check if the tenant is caring for the property, B, during regular business hours for maintenance checks, C, in emergencies that threaten tenant safety or property, or D, to show the unit to potential renters? The answer is C, in emergencies that threaten tenant safety or property. Landlords have the right to enter a rental unit without prior notice only in emergencies, such as fire, severe water leaks, or structural damage that threaten safety. What is a tenant's primary responsibility under a lease agreement? Is it A, to pay rent on time and maintain the property in a clean manner, B, to redecorate the rental property before moving in, C, to make structural changes to the property, or D, to report minor issues directly to the property manager? The answer is A, to pay rent on time and maintain the property in a clean manner. A tenant's primary obligations include timely payment of rent and maintaining the rental property in a clean and decent condition, preventing damages beyond normal wear and tear.
Don't forget to comment below with your tips, challenges, and thoughts on exam preparation. Your experiences can make a big difference for others.
Listing agreements. What is the primary purpose of a listing agreement in real estate? Is it A, to authorize the agent to represent the seller in the sale of the property, B, to determine the buyer's financial qualifications, C, to include the property incognito in the MLS system, or D, to set the selling price of the property without market adjustments? The answer is A, to authorize the agent to represent the seller in the sale of the property. A listing agreement is a legally binding contract that gives a real estate agent the right to act as the seller's representative in the sale of property. Which of the following is not typically included in a listing agreement? Is it A, listing price, B, broker commission rate, C, terms under which the property is available for showing, or D, buyer's financial obligations? The answer is D, buyer's financial obligations. Listing agreements primarily detail the agent's duties, commission, listing price, and terms for showing the property, but do not cover buyer's obligations. What does the exclusive right to sell listing agreement provide to the broker? Is it A, a non-compete agreement with other agents, B, assurance of commission payment if the property is sold by any party, C, ownership rights to the property being sold, or D, limited marketing opportunities for the property? The answer is B, assurance of commission payment if the property is sold by any party. An exclusive right to sell listing guarantees the broker's commission regardless of who sells the property, incentivizing the broker to market it actively. Under a multiple listing service arrangement, how is the property made available? Is it A, the property is only shown to exclusive clients of the listing broker, B, listed privately with no public access, C, visible to all agents and brokers connected with the MLS, or D, limited to a certain geographic area or client base? The answer is C, visible to all agents and brokers connected with the MLS. The multiple listing service enables cooperating brokers to access property listings, greatly expanding market exposure and potential buyers. What is the primary purpose of a listing agreement in Arizona real estate transactions? Is it A, to establish the sales price of the property, B, to formalize the relationship between a seller and a real estate agent, C, to guarantee the sale of the property within a specified time frame, or D, to determine the commission rate for the real estate transaction? The answer is B, to formalize the relationship between a seller and a real estate agent. A listing agreement in Arizona is a contract between a property owner and a real estate agent, authorizing the agent to represent the owner in the sale of the property. It outlines the terms, conditions, and responsibilities of both parties. What is the primary purpose of a listing agreement in real estate? Is it A, to secure a loan for the property, B, to outline terms under which a real estate agent will sell a property, C, to establish zoning laws for a property, or D, to evaluate home insurance policies? The answer is B, to outline terms under which a real estate agent will sell a property. A listing agreement is a contract between a homeowner and a real estate broker, authorizing the broker to sell the property. It usually outlines the terms and conditions of the sale process. Which type of listing agreement allows a property owner to sell their property independently without paying a commission? Is it A, exclusive right to sell, B, net listing, C, open listing, or D, exclusive agency? The answer is D, exclusive agency. Exclusive agency agreements allow property owners to retain the right to sell the property themselves without owing a commission to the listing agent if they find the buyer independently. Which element is commonly not included in a standard listing agreement? Is it A, property address, B, commission rate, C, zoning restrictions, or D, duration of agreement? The answer is C, zoning restrictions. Listing agreements focus on the terms of selling a property, such as commission and duration. Zoning restrictions are usually addressed through separate documentation concerning property use. In which situation can a listing agreement be terminated without penalty before its expiration date? Is it A, if the property is sold by the owner under an open listing, B, if the real estate agent breaches the terms of the agreement. C, if the market value of the property decreases. Or D, if the home does not sell within 30 days. The answer is B, if the real estate agent breaches the terms of the agreement. An agreement can be terminated without penalty if there is a breach by the real estate agent, such as not fulfilling their contractual duties. This avoids penalties for the seller. Buyer representation agreements. What role does a buyer representation agreement play in real estate transactions? Is it A, provides exclusive legal representation for the buyer by the agent? B, ensures the buyer pays the seller's commission? C, allows the buyer to use services of any agent without commitment? Or D, prohibits any dual agency agreements? The answer is A, provides exclusive legal representation for the buyer by the agent. A buyer representation agreement formally establishes the relationship between the buyer and real estate agent, ensuring loyalty and obligation towards the buyer's interests. Which of the following is typically included in a buyer representation agreement? Is it A, the address of the property the buyer intends to purchase? B, terms of compensation for the buyer's agent? C, importance of the multiple listing service? Or D, an exclusivity clause for the seller's agent? The answer is B, terms of compensation for the buyer's agent. The buyer representation agreement often specifies the agent's compensation terms, which may include commission or flat fees agreed upon by buyer and agent. When does a buyer representation agreement typically become effective? Is it A, upon the buyer's initial contact with the agent? B, once the buyer attends the first property viewing? C, after the agreement is signed by both the buyer and agent? Or D, when the agent presents the first property listing? The answer is C, after the agreement is signed by both the buyer and agent. Buyer representation agreements are legally binding once signed by both the buyer and the agent, formalizing the agency relationship. What is the typical duration of a buyer representation agreement? Is it A, indefinite until the buyer finds a property? B, specifically determined between buyer and agent? C, automatically expires after each property showing? Or D, typically 3 months as per national requirement? The answer is B, specifically determined between buyer and agent. The length of a buyer representation agreement is agreed upon by the buyer and agent and can range from weeks to months based on mutual consent. How can a buyer representation agreement be terminated before it expires? Is it A, only if the buyer purchases a property? B, automatically when the buyer meets the seller? C, when the agent cannot find properties matching buyer's criteria? Or D, through mutual consent between buyer and agent? The answer is D, through mutual consent between buyer and agent. A buyer representation agreement can be terminated before its expiration when both the buyer and agent mutually agree to end the contractual relationship. What is the primary purpose of a buyer representation agreement? Is it A, to outline the terms under which a broker is paid? B, to establish a contractual relationship between the buyer and the real estate agent? C, to secure a purchase contract on a property? Or D, to determine the buyer's creditworthiness? The answer is B, to establish a contractual relationship between the buyer and the real estate agent. A buyer representation agreement establishes a formal agency relationship where the agent represents the buyer's interests. It outlines duties, compensation structures, and rights of both parties. Which component is typically not included in a buyer representation agreement? Is it A, duration of the agreement? B, duties of the buyer? C, specific property details? Or D, commission structure? The answer is C, Specific property details. Buyer representation agreements focus on the relationship and duties between agent and buyer, not the specifics of a property purchase. They detail duration, duties, and compensation. Under a buyer representation agreement, which duty does the agent owe to the buyer? Is it A, confidentiality, B, making all financial decisions for the buyer, C, guaranteeing the condition of a property, or D, settling negotiations without buyer's consent? The answer is A, confidentiality. One of the primary fiduciary duties an agent owes a buyer is confidentiality. This ensures client information is not disclosed improperly, protecting the buyer's interests. Why might a buyer enter into an exclusive buyer representation agreement? Is it A, to negotiate multiple agreements with different agents, B, to allow only one agent to represent them, ensuring focused assistance, C, to limit their search to a single neighborhood, or D, to make the transaction non-binding? The answer is B, to allow only one agent to represent them, ensuring focused assistance. An exclusive buyer representation agreement ensures that one agent represents and prioritizes the buyer, usually enhancing dedication and service quality in return for commitment and compensation assurance. Disclosure obligations. What is the primary purpose of disclosure obligations in real estate transactions? Is it A, to protect the seller from legal action, B, to inform buyers of material facts, C, to finalize legal contracts, or D, to increase property value? The answer is B, to inform buyers of material facts. Disclosure obligations exist primarily to ensure buyers have all necessary information about a property's condition before completing a transaction. Which party is generally responsible for providing property disclosures during a real estate sale? Is it A, the buyer, B, the real estate agent, C, the seller, or D, the lender? The answer is C, the seller. Sellers must disclose known material defects about the property to prospective buyers to prevent misinformation and liability issues. How should known hazards like lead-based paint be addressed under disclosure obligations? Is it A, ignore them if the buyer does not ask, B, mention them after closing the sale, C, remove the hazards before selling, or D, provide a notice and lead hazard pamphlet according to regulations? The answer is D, provide a notice and lead hazard pamphlet according to regulations. Federal law requires sellers to disclose known lead paint hazards and provide informational booklets to ensure buyer awareness and safety. What should a seller disclose if their property has been damaged by a natural disaster? Is it A, only if repairs were not completed, B, full details about the damage and repairs, C, nothing if the buyer hasn't directly asked, or D, only if they are legally obligated by the local authorities? The answer is B, full details about the damage and repairs. Disclosing prior damage and repairs ensures transparency, helps buyers make informed decisions, and minimizes future legal disputes. What must be included in a seller's disclosure concerning neighborhood nuisances like noise? Is it A, all known nuisances impacting property's livability, B, only if the noise affects property value, C, only if a neighbor has complained again in writing, or D, nothing, as it is not a physical defect? The answer is A, all known nuisances impacting property's livability. Disclosure of neighborhood issues like consistent noise is vital as they can affect buyer decisions and enjoyment of the property. What is the primary purpose of mandatory disclosure obligations in real estate transactions? Is it A, protect sellers from lawsuits, B, ensure buyers are fully informed about potential property defects, C, increase commissions for real estate agents, or D, speed up the closing process? The answer is B. Ensure buyers are fully informed about potential property defects. Disclosure obligations safeguard consumer interests by ensuring transparency about significant property defects or legal issues, supporting informed decision-making by buyers. Which of the following is a seller not typically required to disclose? Is it A, a minor paint chip in a bedroom, B, known structural defects, C, past termite infestations that were remediated, or D, legal disputes affecting the property? The answer is A, a minor paint chip in a bedroom. Minor aesthetic issues typically do not require disclosure, while significant defects or issues that could affect the property's value or use must be disclosed. Under federal law, what must be disclosed regarding lead-based paint? Is it A, lead paint usage in surrounding neighborhoods, B, current owner's personal opinions on paint quality, C, all renovations that used any form of paint, or D, presence of lead-based paint in properties built before 1978? The answer is D, presence of lead-based paint in properties built before 1978. Under the Residential Lead-Based Paint Hazard Reduction Act, sellers must disclose known lead-based paint hazards in homes built before 1978. Why is a seller advised to provide a property condition disclosure statement? Is it A, to minimize the risk of litigation from the buyer, B, to make the property more attractive to buyers, C, to avoid providing additional warranties to the buyer, or D, to ensure a higher appraisal value? The answer is A, to minimize the risk of litigation from the buyer. Providing a disclosure statement helps to inform buyers of known issues, thus reducing the risk of future lawsuits alleging misrepresentation or concealment. In a seller's disclosure obligation, when should known natural hazard risks be communicated to the buyer? Is it A, before the close of escrow, B, after signing the purchase agreement, C, during the final walkthrough, or D, after the buyer moves in? The answer is A, before the close of escrow. Natural hazard disclosures must be provided before the close of escrow to inform the buyer of potential risks, ensuring transparency and allowing the buyer to reconsider the purchase. Which document must be provided by a seller to disclose known environmental hazards in a property? Is it A, environmental disclosure form, B, title insurance policy, C, seller's property disclosure statement, or D, lease agreement? The answer is C, seller's property disclosure statement. The seller's property disclosure statement is a critical document in real estate transactions containing essential information on a property's condition and known hazards. It helps buyers make informed decisions. What is the primary purpose of providing a buyer with a lead-based paint disclosure? Is it A, to encourage the buyer to negotiate a lower price, B, to inform the buyer of potential health hazards, C, to comply with local environmental regulations, or D, to ensure mortgage approval? The answer is B, to inform the buyer of potential health hazards. Lead-based paint disclosures are mandated by federal law for properties built before 1978 to inform buyers of health risks associated with lead exposure, promoting informed decision-making. When does a property seller's obligation to disclose material facts to the buyer end? Is it A, at the listing of the property, B, upon acceptance of the buyer's offer, C, at closing of the sale, or D, 30 days after the sale? The answer is C, at closing of the sale. The obligation to disclose material facts typically concludes at the closing of the sale, when the property legally changes ownership. Sellers must ensure all relevant information is provided by this point.
If you're finding this helpful, please take a minute to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, useful tips, and complimentary study sessions with Birdsy.
Escrow and transaction management. What is the primary purpose of an escrow account in a real estate transaction? Is it A, to manage the buyer's mortgage payments, B, to adjust the property's assessed value, C, to secure the property for the next transaction, or D, to hold funds and documents until contractual conditions are met? The answer is D, to hold funds and documents until contractual conditions are met. An escrow account is a neutral third-party account that holds funds and documents during a transaction to ensure that all conditions are met before closing. This protects both parties until the contract is fully executed. Who is typically responsible for managing the escrow process during a real estate transaction? Is it A, the buyer's real estate agent, B, the escrow agent or company, C, the seller's attorney, or D, the local real estate governing body? The answer is B, the escrow agent or company. The escrow agent or company acts as a neutral third party to manage the escrow process, ensuring all contractual obligations are satisfied and facilitating the closing of the transaction. In a real estate transaction, what happens to the earnest money deposit if the buyer fails to meet the contract conditions? Is it A, it is refunded to the buyer, B, it is forfeited and given to the seller, C, it is split between buyer and seller, or D, it remains with the escrow agent for future holding? The answer is B, it is forfeited and given to the seller. Earnest money is typically forfeited to the seller if the buyer does not fulfill contractual conditions and no protective contingencies apply, compensating the seller for potential market losses. Why might a real estate transaction involve a second escrow account? Is it A, to manage the seller's next home purchase, B, to settle outstanding debts on the property, C, for a simultaneous closing like a contingent purchase, or D, to increase the down payment requirements? The answer is C, for a simultaneous closing like a contingent purchase. A second escrow account is often used in back-to-back transactions, such as contingent sales, to ensure that both the selling and purchasing processes are adequately and independently managed. Which action is required to close an escrow account at the end of a transaction? Is it A, both parties sign the escrow agreement release, B, the depositor withdraws funds, C, the state's real estate commission issues a closing certificate, or D, the escrow agent pays off the buyer's previous mortgages? The answer is A, both parties sign the escrow agreement release. Closing an escrow account involves the completion of all conditions and contractual terms verified through documentation and signed releases, acknowledging satisfaction and release of all escrow funds and documents. What is the primary purpose of an escrow in a real estate transaction? Is it A, to provide a neutral third party to hold funds and documents, B, to determine the market value of the property, C, to negotiate the terms of the sale, or D, to provide legal advice to the buyer and seller? The answer is A, to provide a neutral third party to hold funds and documents. An escrow ensures fair and impartial handling of funds and documents until all terms of the contract are met. This secures the transaction until all parties fulfill their obligations. Which document is typically required to initiate an escrow process? Is it A, a home inspection report, B, a signed purchase agreement, C, the buyer's earnest money deposit, or D, title insurance policy? The answer is B, a signed purchase agreement. The purchase agreement is crucial as it details the terms of the sale, which allows the escrow officer to begin managing the transaction based on those terms. During the escrow process, who is responsible for paying the escrow service fees? Is it A, the buyer, B, the seller, C, both buyer and seller share the costs, or D, the real estate agent? The answer is C, both buyer and seller share the costs. Escrow fees are generally shared between buyer and seller, but the exact arrangement can vary based on negotiations and terms listed in the purchase contract. What occurs when an escrow is closed? Is it A, the funds and documents are returned to the parties, B, a final inspection is conducted by local authorities, C, the contract is nullified and all parties are released from obligations, or D, the title is transferred to the buyer and funds are distributed to the seller? The answer is D, the title is transferred to the buyer and funds are distributed to the seller. Closing an escrow means all conditions of the sale are satisfied, allowing funds to be distributed and the property title to be transferred officially to the buyer. If a dispute arises over the disbursement of escrow funds, what is the first step parties should take? Is it A, seek mediation or arbitration as per the agreement, B, immediately file a lawsuit in court, C, contact the local real estate commission, or D, cease all communication with the other party? The answer is A, seek mediation or arbitration as per the agreement. Most escrow agreements include clauses requiring mediation or arbitration in the case of disputes, which can offer a faster resolution than court proceedings. Antitrust laws. What is the primary purpose of antitrust laws in real estate? Is it A, to reduce the number of real estate agents, B, to promote competition among real estate agents, C, to stabilize housing prices, or D, to increase taxation on property sales? The answer is B, to promote competition among real estate agents. Antitrust laws are designed to prevent anti-competitive practices in the marketplace, ensuring fair competition and preventing entities from engaging in monopolies or conspiracies that restrain trade. Which of the following is considered a violation of antitrust laws in real estate? Is it A, setting a common commission rate among competing firms, B, disclosing property conditions to buyers, C, offering sales promotions independently, or D, advertising properties online? The answer is A, setting a common commission rate among competing firms. Under antitrust laws, real estate agents or firms cannot conspire to set fixed commission rates, as it eliminates competition and harms consumer choice. What is market allocation in the context of antitrust laws? Is it A, dividing potential customers based on their credit scores, B, pooling funds for joint advertising campaigns, C, sharing client information for better service, or D, allocating territories among competing firms? The answer is D, allocating territories among competing firms. Market allocation agreements among competitors involve dividing geographic areas to avoid competing with one another, which is illegal under antitrust laws as it limits consumer options. Which act makes it illegal for real estate professionals to create cartels? Is it A, Federal Housing Act, B, Sherman Act, C, True Competition Act, or D, Consumer Protection Act? The answer is B, Sherman Act. The Sherman Act makes it illegal for competing entities to form cartels or make agreements that restrain interstate trade or competition in real estate or other markets. Horizontal price fixing among real estate agents is illegal because it A, increases property taxes, B, ensures fair competition, C, restricts competitive pricing options, or D, promotes better service quality? The answer is C, restricts competitive pricing options. Horizontal price fixing is when competitors set prices at a certain level, eliminating competition and violating antitrust laws by depriving consumers of competitive pricing options. Which of the following actions would likely be considered a violation of antitrust laws in real estate? Is it A, setting commission rates independently, B, discussing commission splits with a coworker in the same brokerage, C, agreeing with another brokerage to fix commission rates, or D, advertising below market listings? The answer is C, agreeing with another brokerage to fix commission rates. Antitrust laws prohibit agreements between brokerages to fix prices, such as commission rates. This practice reduces competition and harms consumers. What is a group boycott in the context of antitrust laws in real estate? Is it A, a collaboration among agents within the same firm, B, real estate agents agreeing to exclude a new competitor, C, an agent choosing not to list a property, or D, a brokerage setting its own service fees? The answer is B, real estate agents agreeing to exclude a new competitor. A group boycott occurs when businesses, such as real estate firms, conspire to eliminate competitors, disrupting market competition and infringing upon antitrust regulations.
Thanks for joining us today. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, tips, and tricks. And don't forget to visit birdsy.ai for complimentary study sessions with Birdsy, your AI-powered study partner.